We're joined now by Dr. Alexis Jemal. Dr. Jemal, thank you very much for your time. I want to begin by looking at your beginning when you first got into fencing. Walk me through that. How did that all come about?
Wow. First got into fencing. So I was a senior in high school and looking for a sport that I could do. I was not good at track. I wasn't good at just sports in general, but I liked fighting. I liked martial arts. I just didn't like getting kicked or punched. And so I was looking for something that I could do. And my YMCA had this new intro fencing class. So I decided to try it on a whim. Really liked it. The coach there thought I had talent. And so I like to read everything when I'm interested in something. And so I went to the library, and the only book there was a book by Peter Westbrook. And he had this, foundation for inner city youth to get into the sport of fencing. And, I thought I would never get to something like that. And happened to be talking to my guidance counselor about colleges and mentioned I had to go to a fencing practice. And she said, "Oh, my daughter fences." I said, "Really? Where?" She said, "At the Peter Westbrook Foundation." I said, "I just read a book about him." She said, "Well, come on, we'll take you." So I ended up going to the Peter Westbrook Foundation. This is all within the month of starting fencing at the Y, and started going on Saturdays. Met Peter the first day I arrived at the foundation at the club, and they also thought that I had something, and so they invested in me and took me from a very beginner.
As you're talking about the Peter Westbrook Foundation, just Peter Westbrook himself, you mentioned meeting him for the first time. I see how stacked he was as an Olympian, just the medals and wins that he has under his belt. So I can imagine just what that experience was for you. When it comes to Rutgers itself, of course, as a junior, you finish, you place at the NCAA Championships. As a senior, of course, that was where things really took off for you. 33-2 your senior year. You ended up winning the national championship. What was it about making it all the way to that point that year? What was it that propelled you forward to get that national title and to stamp your name in the Rutgers history books that way?
Yeah, that year, I was on fire. Okay. It just was all coming together. I think that has to happen for people in athletics. I mean, or let me just speak for myself, because I don't even know about other people, but it just, the training, the work, the confidence, it just was all coming together at that moment. I beat people that I had never beaten before. Actually, 3 of them definitely 2 of them in a row. The 2 semifinalists were people that had my number, actually, that just beat me all the time. I was like that for some people. You just know how to fence them, and I had never beaten these 2 people before, so it was quite an uphill battle. And I just remember thinking, everything I do is working. Like, I can't miss. I'm just on. And I guess that's the zone that people talk about. I was in the zone. So that's how that story went.
I do want to loop back really quickly on a point that we were just referencing, and that's the fact that so few people in your sport do look like yourself. I'm just curious, can you kind of expand upon that thought for me, and just what does the landscape of, whether it's collegiate fencing or the Pan Am Games or Olympic fencing, what does that look like?
So, yes, there, fencing is is predominantly done by white people, but it was very interesting because coming into it from the Peter Westbrook Foundation, most people look like me, right? And they're doing really well. So, so I never had So I don't know, maybe it's like what it's like to go to like an HBCU or something. Um, so yeah, it was just, I felt very protected and loved, and so it wasn't like how I think of, for example, maybe like a ballerina's experience, being a Black ballerina, and um, you know, or I mean, probably in any sport where you're in the minority, and so I just really was felt really protected and loved, and so I can't, I don't know, if I would have had a very different experience had I not been with the Peter Westbrook Foundation. I mean, just to have, when you walk into a competition and you're all there together to support each other, and you have that team spirit where you have always somebody to look over and see somebody cheering you on, that wants you to be there, and wants you to do well. It makes a big difference.
Can you kind of explain to us a little bit of what it is that you are doing these days in the classroom?
Yeah, so so I'd say my area, so I do I'm a assistant professor of social work at the Silverman School of Social Work at Hunter College in the city. And I started off in law, thought I was going to be a lawyer. But, just seeing all the systemic injustices and structural violence, I just thought that the way I wanted to help I would like that through another field like social work. So I do research. I'm an educator and a practitioner, so like community and cultural organizer and clinical practitioner, like therapy and stuff like that. And my focus is racial justice, healing, and liberation. So I do everything is right in that area with anti-racism and yeah, just like injustice and so I mainly focus on like criminal justice issues and health and well-being.
I'm curious, we've got this project, as we have even explained to you, it's our Big Impact Pioneers project. And when we mentioned the name Paul Robeson to you, I mean, you are selected as the Rutgers finalist along with Paul Robeson. When you hear that name and your name in the same sentence, I mean, just what goes on through your mind, particularly as someone with your background educationally?
I am really honored. I can't even put it into words that my name would be in the same sentence as his. I mean, I have not arrived as far as like what I want to do professionally. And I have, lots of, plans and work that I want to do. And maybe after all of that, maybe then we could talk about us in the same sentence. But, we're gonna put a semicolon right there and just wait, just hold on for a second. But no, I just really, I can't even really wrap my head around it. I certainly did not expect that this was like the first year, and I didn't expect. I mean, just to give you an idea, I thought this had been going on for maybe 10 or more years or something, and that because I've been out of college for a long time, I feel like it's been a long time. So I was like, there are going to be all these people that I could look back through and see, because it's probably taken 10 years to get to my name, to get to me, and that would be understandable. I would completely understand that. But to be considered for the first year and with Paul Robeson, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say.
I like the way you said that, though. We're just going to put a semicolon on this because, like you said, your story is not finished, and it is quite a story that you have accomplished even to this point. Dr. Jemal, I just really want to say thank you for your time and congratulations on this honor.
Thank you very much.